There is a very beautiful story to understand the concept or the idea of the three gunas. Three gunas, as Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, are the three primordial or the inherited qualities or the modes of the Prakriti and each and every living and non-living being that exist. So in this story, there was a traveler once. He was lost in a very dense forest, and as he was sort of trying to find his way out, he was caught by three robbers. And out of these three robbers, the first robber said, "Let's kill him and steal or rob all his wealth, all his possessions." Now, listening this, the second robber looked at him and he said, "Wow, it seems to be there is no point killing him for just to take his possessions. Why don't we tie him up with a tree and then steal all his money, his wealth and everything, all the possessions that he had?" All three of them agreed, and they tied him up with the tree and took all his wealth, all his possessions, and left him tied up with a tree. Now, as these three robbers went just a little far away from him, the third robber sort of thinking all different options and felt like, if I leave him tied up with a tree, then the animals, a tiger or the wild animals, might come and kill him. And he felt that this seems to be unnecessary. So he came back to the man who was tied up with a tree. He untied him or freed him and let him go. And as not only let him go, but he also took him out of the forest and show him the path that if he follow this straight path, he will find his way out of the forest, and this path will lead him to the nearest village, from where he said people will guide him or take him to his destination where he should be. So in this story now, as we look at three different robbers as an example of seeing how these three different qualities can be seen in the people in each and every state. So the first of the robber was primarily or dominated by the tamoguna, which is the quality of ignorance, or where people sort of live in that inertia, ignorance, sloth, and the non-virtuous living, non-virtuous life, totally self-obsessed. The second robber was primarily sort of rajoguna, which is driven by the passion and the worldly desires. But the rajoguna has some ability to recognize the value of the life and others, so he only decided to tie him up. Now the third robber, even though caught into the material and the mundane desires or the worldly needs, but had the sattva guna as the primary quality of goodness. And out of that he had that ingrained endeavor or the seeking for the virtues or the light in life, and in that he had the respect or the value of life of not only ourselves in himself, but also for the other people. And for that purpose he let him not only be free, but also put him on the right path to seek for the light. Now in these beautiful teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna guides us or advises us to gradually move away from the tamoguna, the inertia, ignorance, into the rajas, the rajoguna of the passion or the action, doing our duty, and then from there moving into sattva, the purity, essence, and then from the purity we want to gradually transcend into guna tita. So being free from all these three modes of the primordial qualities or the nature of the Prakriti, all that material living and non-living modes or the beings, the objects that exist.